This episode of the Fiction Writers Podcast is brought to you by How to Write a Novel That Sells. Do you dream of writing a best-selling fiction novel? With the right tools, you could get there sooner than you think. Visit www.howtowriteanovelthatsells.com and unlock the secrets to writing compelling fiction taught by international best-selling author Lana McAra. Welcome to the Fiction Writers Podcast with Lana McAra, where you will discover tips, tricks, and ideas for fiction that is #unputdownable. Here you'll find new energy, new perspectives, new resources, and new ideas that will spark your creativity into a blaze of brilliance. It's easier than you think. Be sure you visit our website at www.fictionwriterspodcast.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now, get out your notebook, tune in, and let's get started.
My name is Lana McAra. Welcome to the Fiction Writers Podcast, for fiction that is #unputdownable. You can't write good fiction if you don't have failure. Failure comes in so many times in so many ways, and we're going to focus on two of them today. If you have a failure for your main character at the beginning, then that failure is related to the theme, or it could be related to the psychic wound. Some point when that person had a massive fail and it has affected them, one of those before and after moments we talk about. They changed the way they saw themselves, the way they saw the world, and even their worldview could have shifted because of this massive failure. So your story opens and there's a failure. Now that is putting the failure at the beginning of the book. There's so much you can do with that. Did the person fail from their own mistakes? Or did they fail from some social pressure? Or did they fail because they saw themselves as a failure when they really weren't? Or did someone else blame them for something and they lost something important to them because of the blame, not necessarily because they actually did wrong? Or maybe they ended up in jail for making the wrong choices. That's a failure. So how do you want to do that? I mean, what is the before and after moment relating to your life? Could come in there. Or it could just be setting the character up with these wounds and this axe to grind or this thing to overcome at the beginning of the story. And relating it to the theme is awesome, because then you can bring it in with other characters where maybe a side character didn't fail. They made the right choice. And so they are a contrast to your main character. Or maybe they also failed, but to a lesser degree or a greater degree, or maybe in some other area. So you can mirror or contrast the failure through your other characters and your theme. At the end of the book, there could be a massive failure too. And I call that the dark moment. This is when all is lost. When the thing that could never happen happens. When the worst case scenario comes to pass. That's when you have your dark moment. And when you set up your character, you should already be thinking about how far can I push this character to the end where everything is lost? And what would that look like? The secret that should never be told is told. The hill that has to be climbed isn't climbed. The message that must be delivered isn't delivered. The dark moment when the hero has put out his maximum effort and failed. That's a second place where failure is super important. You could have both, failure at the beginning and failure at the end. Just make sure that your hero has the qualities, the characteristics that he needs to succeed at the final page. So where does failure come into your book? Have you thought about it? What is the point of failure, and why did the person fail, and how did they react to that? And then how can you bring them to that dark moment at the end when you're going to have them go into the chasm of horrible grief and loss, only to bring them out rising like a phoenix from the ashes to conquer anyway and give the reader a massive, massive lesson in resilience and what they can do in the world in their lives. And that is a very good story. Thanks so much for being with us today. This is the Fiction Writers Podcast. My name is Lana McAra. Thank you so much. Bye now.
Thank you for tuning into the Fiction Writers Podcast with Lana McAra, where we share tips, tricks, and ideas for fiction that is #unputdownable. Remember to visit our website at www.fictionwriterspodcast.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Fiction Writers Podcast.